dancer who held these flags was, and the story is crazy. His name is Zui-Qarnian, and he's an artist based out of New England. He told The Intercept that he can't live in America, live in the lap of luxury while those are suffering without trying to help or bring attention to it. After auditioning, he was one of the 400 people who was accepted to be a background dancer for Kendrick's performance. But then he decided to make this choice of using his platform and the opportunity that he had to hold up the signs of Sudan and Gaza and bring more awareness to them on such a national platform. He was able to hold the sign up for about 30 minutes until the security wrestled him and took him off the field. And even though they kept him for questioning, they weren't able to keep him and they didn't charge him with anything. If you want to support him, this is his Instagram page. Make sure you go follow him and send him some love. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Make sure you follow me for more content like this.
To another episode on this magnificent Tuesday afternoon of the Good Show. I'm your host, Andre Morton, and the Good Show is a part of the ATP Network. You can catch the ATP Network. We're everywhere, except for Rock Fan, YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, and Twitter. And also, before I start, the only plug I have is like the video. Helps us out in the algorithm. When y'all like the video, pushes the video out, more people will see it because I think YouTube is suppressing us. I don't know what for. Like maybe I talked about Gaza, going on there. Like they suppressed my Conrad JB channel because he was talking about no, actually they demonetized JB Font's channel because he was talking about Gaza, but yeah, like yeah, that's what they do. Like this is why these platforms need to be treated as a public utility because if you say something that they don't like, they will shadow ban you. Sometimes kick you off the platform. So yeah. The video you saw there was the guy that was at Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. Apparently he was one of 400 dancers for Kendrick Lamar's halftime show. About Kendrick Lamar, I think the halftime show was good. A lot of people didn't like it. People that's not my yeah, we kind of know why because it's too black, I guess. We black, we entertainers, like black people, we entertain. You know, I they're just saying like it's good to me. But the best part of that halftime show or the whole Super Bowl entirely, because to me the Super Bowl was boring as shit anyway. I didn't even watch it. I've seen highlights of it. People told me it was boring. Like, yeah, so was that guy that held up that flag with Sudan flag and a Gaza flag together. Like that is dope as fuck. Um and apparently the NFL suspended, banned the guy from all NFL stadiums because of that. I'm gonna pull up an article about that. Give me a okay, guys. So this is an article from USA Today. It says Super Bowl halftime performer banned for life from NFL events after waving flags in protest. Yeah, he's doing his First Amendment right, and the result is you getting banned. Um, a performer in Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime show was detained after he unfurled a combination of Palestinian and Sudanese flags during the performance. The NFL confirmed Monday to USA Today that the person was part of the 400-member field cast, like that female in that video said, and had hidden the flag on themselves before the halftime show began Sunday night. No one involved with the production were aware of the individual's intent. The league said in a statement. The individual, wow, they couldn't at least see the guy's name, the individual, like so fucking disrespectful, man. But anyway, it will ban for life from all NFL stadiums and events. Wow. This is the guy right here. Yeah, that's dope, man. Like that's super dope. Oh man, like that's wow. The protester who has not been identified. They did identify him. I guess this came out Monday. I guess was seen displaying the flag after Lamar's performance of his chart-topping diss track, Not Like Us. Images and videos showed the Sudan and Gaza were written on the white section of the flag along with a heart and a solidarity fist. Okay. Um, it says the individual who were wearing the black sweats matching those on stage could be seen among dozens of dancers in red, white, blue, and black. The now infamous moment occurred after Lamar's performance of "Not Like Us" as the rapper launched into his final song, "TV Off." The protester bearing the flag could be seen standing on the hood of a Buick Grand National GNX, the vehicle behind the name of Lamar's latest album, GNX, that um, served as a central prop in the halftime show performance. That's the guy right there. Yeah, just escorted him, like, yeah. Um, it says the moment gained significant attention on social media, where video showed the individual jumping from car and fleeing the stage while displaying the flag. Security eventually tackled the man, of course, handcuffed him, and removed him from the field. Rock Nation Entertainment Company behind the halftime show said in a statement that the act by the individual, wow, again, like Rock Nation should know the guy's name. Jeez. Oh boy, was neither planned nor part of the production and was never in any rehearsal. Well, but they said he was a part of it. Now they said, oh, the actor. Okay, my bad, guys. Yeah, yeah, him holding. Of course not. I mean, if he told them like, "Hey, I'm gonna hold up this flag and protest this um Sudan and Gaza flag, Palestinian flag," I mean, like they would quickly, quickly shut that down. So, protest is nothing but a surprise. Like that protest all it is. Like, why would he say it out loud for y'all to disband it? It says the NFL referred further questions to New Orleans police, who said on Monday, told USA Today that the individual has not been formally arrested or charged. I mean, for what? I mean, why would you arrest it? Why you arrest the guy that's protesting against the occupation, the apartheid in Gaza and Sudan? Like, mean, I mean, like they're. I mean, like we have no rights in this country. Like we this country ain't free. Like, you protest against the state, the establishment, against the State Department. They do anything they can to, um, you know, take you away. But yeah, so, um, uh, let me see. Let's talk about Trump now. I might read this. It says, Donald Trump was in attendance at the Super Bowl, though he left at halftime. The game took place after Trump last week called for U.S. to take over the Gaza Strip and relocate roughly 2 million Palestinians to neighboring Arab countries amid the prolonged war in Israel. There ain't no war to genocide. As part of the proposal, which represents a major shift in Middle East policy, Trump did not rule out sending U.S. troops in Gaza to ensure the territory. I mean, yeah, like, man, I tell you, boy, Donald Trump is an evil motherfucker. Let me continue. Meanwhile, immigrants from Sudan, where a civil war is raging, are among those to whom the Biden administration extended temporarily protections in January before Trump took office. Trump has vowed to end temporary protected status for immigrants from some countries. Um, so that's it right there. They talking about Kendrick Lamar performance and all that stuff. We don't need to get in all that. So yeah, man. Shout out to that guy. Um, you're an icon. You're a legend. Um, like, like that was so fucking dope, man. Like, Monday morning. But again, y'all, I didn't watch the Super Bowl. Like, I'm not into sports no more like I used to. But I see that, I'm like, holy shit, it's real. Like, the whole myself, like, this real. Like, the protesters are dancing. Like the guy made it into the 400, dancing, the 400 dancing roster. Like, man, like and Luigi Mangione did what he did. Like Luigi being a class traitor to his class, and this guy, like, he's a dancer. Like, oh, he's not a class traitor. The dancer is, but I'm just saying, like, the guy protesting because so many, like, and how many people um saw that halftime show, like 127 million people watched the Super Bowl according to Nielsen. So that was almost, now that's a feel good story right there, man. But one thing I hate, fuck the NFL for defending this guy like he hurt somebody or something. Like Jesus, like it's like we go from all NFL events and stadiums. Like, give me a break. Like NFL, the NBA, I'm pretty sure the MLB, soccer, what US soccer. I don't know what they logo is, but they name is the official name of US soccer. But I'm pretty sure all of them is in bed with Israel somewhere. Like Adam Silver is a Zionist and he's in the NBA, so it kind of do make sense. And I don't know about um the NFL, but yeah, I'm pretty sure all of them is in bed with Israel somehow, some way. So yeah, man. All right, guys. All right, guys. Before I get to this next topic, be sure to like the video. It helps us push us out in the algorithm, and also too, sorry for the audio. I mean the microphone. I might sound a little on and off. Something's wrong with my microphone, man. I just don't know. But now I have to buy me a good microphone since I'm doing this full time now. And yeah, so just like the video and thanks to all you that been watching my content. I know y'all see my face and say, what the hell he talking about? But yeah, man, new to this stuff still. So yeah, thank you for your cooperation. All right, guys. So the guy next to me right here, if you don't know who he is, he's Richard Medhurst. Some of you may know that I think he was getting on a plane, and I think he was at London Heathrow Airport. He was getting on the plane, and apparently, I don't know, like somebody called the cops, and the police came, and they took. I need to play that video, so I probably will. This is the latest one. Um, they took Richard Medhurst off the plane. They took him to jail. I think I don't know how long he stayed in jail. Damn, I forgot. But I'm gonna play the video, and they took his phone and other stuff, and now recently, again, Richard Medhurst, recently was raided and detained. So yeah, man, like if you speak truth to power or you do investigative journalism, real investigative journalism, like you are at risk. Like even me doing this, like I say like the bigger real YouTube channels that does this are more at risk than me. I'm still small, but yeah, like we're all at risk, guys. Like we all at risk. You never know, man. I might get on a plane and they'll take me off the plane because I said something that didn't um that didn't agree with the State Department talking points or whatnot. But yeah, man. Here's Richard Medhurst. I'm going to talk about what he encountered. So here we go.
My name is Richard Medhurst. I'm an internationally accredited journalist from the UK. On Monday, agents from the Austrian police and intelligence services detained me, raided my home, raided my studio, and then interrogated me. They essentially lured me into a trap. So I received a letter from the government last week from immigration, summoning me for some interview at my residency. I found that a bit odd because I've lived here for a while. I never had any problems. So having nothing to fear, I went to the meeting by myself. And then after a few simple questions.
Yeah, like if you living there for a while, why they give you a letter about your residency? Like, that's a trap. That's a trap.
They suddenly issued a thinly veiled threat saying they were considering revoking my residency because of my alleged reporting on Palestine and Lebanon. So, of course, my answer was no comment. And as soon as I thought everything was over, I was ambushed by a group of plainclothes agents. They entered the room, flashing their badges in my face, and they said that they were the Austrian equivalent of MI5 or the FBI. They detained me, and then they served me with a warrant from the state prosecutor to search my home, search my studio, take all of my devices. Why? Because they think that I, a Christian Englishman, am a member of Hamas. Yes, you heard that correctly. They are accusing me of being a...
So, speaking out against an apartheid state like Israel and saying that bombing innocent women and children is wrong and it needs to stop and Palestinians need their land back. So that makes you a Hamas supporter? Like that don't make any sense. What? What? That's. I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm just being, y'all know how I would react to that. Like, what? You doing investigative journalism, basically exposing Israel's war crimes, makes you a Hamas supporter or part of Hamas? I'm pretty sure they think I'm a Hamas supporter too. Oh my God, man. I mean, anything you do in life, man, like what Richard Medhurst and Max Blumenthal and Aaron Monte, all of those investigative journalists do are good work. But even what I'm doing, even though I don't think I'm contributing like them, I think they actually doing real work compared to what I'm doing. I'm just commentating, but we're at risk, man. Like this happened to him, Richard Medhurst today. It could happen to anyone else that does this in this independent media space, man. That's wild, man.
Member of Hamas, of being part of the Azz-al-Din Qassam brigades, of disseminating propaganda, encouraging terrorism, being affiliated with organized crime and a terrorist group. I mean, it's like reading something out of the Twilight Zone.
Encouraging what? Encouraging terrorism? What? What? He's encouraging terrorism. How? Like, I'm pretty sure they explain how he was encouraging terrorism. Like that one right there. Oh Jesus, man. These people unserious, man. They're unserious.
So they seized my phone, and they drove me to my residence, ransacked the place. They even took devices which I repeatedly told them do not belong to me. Then they drove me to my studio and turned the place upside down. So I had to watch my devices being disassembled before my very eyes by a group of strangers. All these tools that I spent years building and investing in, the core of my journalistic profession. They took, in total, they took like 5-6 different laptops and computers, phones, USB sticks, hard drives, DVDs, you name it. Right. And although the warrant was for electronic devices only, for some reason, they took photos of my residence, photos of the office, of the bathroom. They helped themselves to anything they saw.
That sounds like a lawsuit, man. Man, I don't think Richard Medhurst watch our content, but I would tell him like, hey, bro, you got a lawsuit on your hands now. If they have a warrant to get your electronic devices, then why the fuck they taking pictures of your shit? That's not what the warrant says. Oh, you got a lawsuit on your hands, my guy. Telling you that much, man. Holy shit.
Books, papers, documents, cupboards, closets. To tell you the truth, though, the agents treated me kindly and with respect. They didn't deny me any of my basic needs. Now, as you recall, I was unjustly arrested a few months ago in London. They jailed me for almost 24 hours under the Terrorism Act. Strangely enough, last week, the police in England again extended this investigation, and then suddenly this happens in Vienna. I don't think that is mere coincidence, okay? The first thing I asked the Austrian agents was, did my government put you up to this? And they replied, no, Britain doesn't talk to us. Well, forgive me, but I find that a bit hard to believe. I do think that this persecution, this raid, is related to the case in Britain. I think it's being coordinated with Britain. Now, my colleague Stefania Marizzi, who works on the Snowden papers with Glenn Greenwald, she reported last month in Il Fatto Quotidiano that the British police seized a graphene OS device from me and that it was very unlikely that they'd be able to crack it. So I suppose that's why Britain asked the Austrians to raid me, grab anything they could find, and go on this massive fishing expedition.
So basically, Britain. I really believe that Britain told Austria, like he said, told Austria to do that. Like they really want to find anything they can possible to take him down because he's speaking truth to power or he's finding out facts. See, Britain, the United States, and these other countries, Germany, like they don't want the truth to come out. Like that's why they banned TikTok in the United States because, well, TikTok now is totally different from before it got banned. Like now you can't say free Palestine for some reason. Yeah. I don't know. Like, wow. disappointed, but I mean, no wonder it got brought back so quickly. Like, see, on TikTok, for example, people were actually showing what's going on in Gaza. Like, they were showing exact images what's going on in Gaza. On Twitter as well. Like they're showing it, and people will say, "Hey, what Israel doing is fucked up. Like they stole this land from the Palestinians. Like they don't want you to know that." So what they did was did what Trump said originally 4 years ago, well 5 years ago, ban TikTok, and they banned it. So they doing to him like, "Hey, we don't like what this guy doing. So let's try to take all his electronic devices. Let's try to crack open his phones and his computer hardware." And all this other shit. And yeah, it's like they want to find something against them. Pretty sure they ain't gonna find nothing. I mean, he's just doing his fucking job as a journalist. Like, Jesus Christ. Mars terrorists. Okay, man. Jesus. Like, boy. Oh, God. Let me continue.
You know, the warrant even mentions my arrest in London to try and bolster their case. The Austrian agents, they asked me for the passwords to my devices, and I said no, because as a journalist, I have an ethical, a professional obligation to protect my sources. None of them were compromised. During the raid, I spoke briefly with the techs who were extracting my devices, you know, from one node to another. And they told me that if they can't crack the devices, they send them outside sometimes to other countries, to other law enforcement agencies, and ask them for help. So that further indicated to me that this could very well be related to what's happening in the UK against me. Now, all these devices are work devices. They're my journalistic tools. I have been left with literally nothing. I mean, just to film this was a struggle. Okay, believe me. No phone, no computer, no SD cards, nothing. They cut me off from my work, from my contacts, from my family, from my friends. And the next day, they dropped by and give me a list of all the things they seized. It was 19 pages long. As a matter of fact, I've spent the last months writing a book on cybersecurity, as I'm unable to report and work normally under these circumstances. And they even confiscated my book, the book that I've been working on for 2 years now. You know, I just riffled through the manuscripts and the notes like it was nothing. So,
wow, man. This is nuts, bro. Holy shit. The guy can't even, he took the guy's book away. What in the fucking fuck, bro? I don't know, man.
So after watching all of my gear being dismantled, I was then ordered under this warrant to participate in an interrogation. So these agents, they took me down with them to the station, and I said 2 words, no comment. And that was it. Then they fingerprinted me, they palm printed me, they took mugshots, my DNA, and after 6-7 hours of this, I was finally allowed to leave. I categorically deny all of these accusations by the British and Austrian governments. I'm not a terrorist, I am a journalist, and they bloody well know it. Some of these Austrian accusations are very similar to the British ones, which again tells me that this is somehow coordinated. But it's actually
being a fan of the journalist counts as terrorism in their eyes, man. Like, I mean, like Eric Snowden, like he was being an investigative journalist, and they exiled him. Julian Assange, like, yeah. When you expose their transgressions, yeah, they want to seek revenge. I mean, they want to avenge that. That's what they're doing. So
actually a massive escalation. They are accusing me of being a member of a proscribed organization. I mean, this is insanity on another level. This is detached from reality. And they're trying to make a snowball out of nothing. So now, because of my reporting, I'm under investigation for quote-unquote terrorism in 2 countries. I could face up to 14 years in prison in the UK, plus another 2 to 5 years if I don't give them the passwords to my phones, and maybe another 10 years in prison in Austria, and my residency potentially being revoked. And why? For what? For journalism. Because of my reporting. I mean, this is insane. This is disproportionate state violence. And it's not just an attack on me. This is an attack on the entire profession, on freedom of speech, on democracy itself. They are denying me my human right to free speech. I'm being punished and persecuted in my country of origin in the UK and in my country of residence in Austria. I come from a family that worked to establish peace around the world, a family that raised me to stand against terrorism and injustice. Please help raise awareness. This is not just an affront on me, but on all of us. Inform your friends, inform your family, your colleagues, write to your representatives in Parliament. And again, I want to stress how the police, they came in here in this room. They seized all my equipment, all of my gear. They left me with nothing. If you're able to, please consider contributing on GoFundMe and PayPal so that I can get back up and running. The links are down below. It would really make a difference and go a long way. Thank you so much.
Okay, guys. So
Another anonymous. And
I want to hear you, Abby Phillip. I cares what you say, Abby Phillip. All right, guys. So yeah, yeah, man. So yeah, that was Richard Medhurst. Yeah, like this guy facing 14 years in prison for doing his job. Wow, not surprising, man. Not surprising. Like, he's doing his job. Like, he's reporting the facts. Oh man, they're trying to make an example out of Richard Medhurst. I think they're trying to scare the other journalists and say, you better not go beyond our limits. Like, the things that we want you to report on that. But if you report on anything outside of the realm, you're gonna be just like Richard Medhurst. Go take all of his equipment. Like, come on, man. He taking his phone. Like, he can't, like he can't reach his family, and he gotta buy another phone and another camera and another mic. Like, come on, man. Like, it's not surprising. I wouldn't be surprised if the United States had something to do with this as well, along with London as well. I wouldn't be surprised, because the United States is, oh God, it's a shithole. So, okay, guys. Also, too, guys, so I played the first video when he got literally arrested in London. I'm finna show you Richard Medhurst GoFundMe. This is his webpage right here. It says support for Richard Medhurst journalism. Because yeah, they took everything, and so yeah, he surpassed his goal. So keep supporting them. Gotta do what we can, because yeah, journalism is under attack, and it's sad. Like besides people that literally raise money off of small dollar donations to do this work. Like, I mean, you know, corporate media, like, they ain't got no real investigative journalists no more. It's just a lot of people that won't access and willing to do anything for a check. Like, that's what corporate media is. But you got people like Richard Medhurst and Max Blumenthal and others that actually do the real work. Like, actually question people, actually get facts, actually get sources. So, support Richard Medhurst, support all the other journalists I mentioned. They're on Twitter, they're everywhere. So we gotta support the little integrity we have, guys. Okay, guys, so this video right here is from August. So this is when he got arrested in London. So here we go. I promise y'all I'm gonna play this one as well, just in case some of you didn't see it. So here we go.
My name is Richard Thomas Medhurst. I'm an internationally accredited journalist from the United Kingdom. On Thursday, as I landed in London Heathrow Airport, I was immediately escorted off the plane by 6 police officers who were waiting for me at the entrance of the aircraft. They arrested me, not detained.
I know I shouldn't pause as much, but you need six police officers for one guy. One guy that's harmless. What? The hell? Well, they claim he's a terrorist, so I guess, you know, wow. I guess, you know, the more the merrier, huh? Fuck about here. Back to the video, though.
They arrested me under Section 12 of the Terrorism Act of 2000 and accused me of allegedly, quote, expressing an opinion or belief that is supportive of a prescribed organization, unquote, but wouldn't explain what this meant. One officer took my bags, and when I asked why he was still back in the aircraft, I was told, look, mate, you can get nicked right here in front of everyone, or in there, your choice. So I was taken to an adjacent room, patted down, my phone confiscated. I was not allowed to inform my family. Despite being calm and cooperative, I was handcuffed with something that placed my shoulders in an awkward position and my wrists on top of, rather than next to each other. The handcuffs were extremely tight, Despite the police loosening them, they left marks on me for 2 days. The police took me down onto the runway, put me in a police van, essentially a mobile cage, and informed me that everything was being recorded. The van was cramped. I had to struggle the entire time to keep my balance and try not to fall over as we drove to the police station. Now, once inside the station, they searched me again for the second time within 10 minutes. I was told to sit on a bench, remove my shoes, remove my socks. I was told to turn my socks inside out and hold them up for the officers to inspect. They also made me hold up my feet so they could check them as well. The officers took me to a room with UV lights, which they told me is used to catch burglars who are sprayed with something. I have no idea why they did this since they just removed me off of a plane.
Are you serious? Some of the people that legitimately do horrible things don't get treated like that. Like, this guy getting treated like this back in August just because he reports on the genocide in Gaza. Just think about that. Think about it. Because he do his job, does his rights, his freedom of the press, right? Freedom of the press. They treat this guy like he's a terrorist. Man, tell you, boy.
Suitcase was then opened in the lobby and ransacked. All of my journalistic equipment and devices were seized, including phones, SIM cards, wireless microphones, headphones, even my shoelaces. They later took my DNA as well, my fingerprints, palm prints, and photographed me. I was placed in solitary confinement in a cold cell that smelt like urine. There was barely any light, and the bed, if you can even call it a bed, was simply a small concrete ledge with a paper-thin mattress. The cell had no windows, no heating, no toilet paper. I was recorded 24/7 with audio and video, even when going to the toilet. I had to eat food with a piece of cardboard that you were supposed to fold in two in order to scoop up the meal. The police said that I have the right to inform someone that I'm locked up. So I said, okay, I want to call my family. And then they'd go, well, your calls are withheld because of the nature of the alleged offense. I tried to ask, well, what's the...
Well, he about to say it too, but if he's entitled to a phone call because y'all accused him of being a terrorist, then that don't make any sense. Like, no matter, they acting like he's guilty until he got to be proven innocent. Like, I thought that you innocent to proven guilty. Like, what happened? Like, when it comes to like integrity, it don't matter. It doesn't matter. He's a threat. Let's treat him like let's teach him like a slave, basically. Like they literally tortured this man. Like, this man tied the man handcuffed too tight. Recorded him all over the place. He said it had no heating. It was basically a cold cage. Like, jeez, man. Wow.
The point of a right if you can just randomly withdraw it? Why tell me that I have this right at all? And one of them said something along the lines of, well, it's not an absolute right. It can be waived. Similarly, they said I had the right to know why I was being detained. So I asked again, and the police would say something like, well, we're just the arresting officers. We don't really know. Or this will be explained to you during the interview, or some other generic response. Now, despite the police officers' civility and cheerfulness, I felt that the whole process was designed to humiliate, intimidate, and dehumanize me and treat me like a criminal, even though they must have been aware of my background and that I'm a journalist. I was under surveillance almost the entire time from the moment I was arrested until I was released, be it in the police van, in the station, the cell, all of it. No privacy whatsoever. Many of my requests were also delayed or outright ignored. When I was detained, I asked for water several times. The police would always say sure, but then I ended up waiting hours for a tiny cup of water. I asked if I could have my own clothes because I was in a t-shirt. It was cold and I couldn't sleep. They said they'd give me a pullover, but never did. Although one guard did give me a second blanket. So you have to nag and nag for the most basic things. And this is why I was afraid that they weren't even going to call a solicitor for me. I was able to see the nurse.
If y'all don't know what a solicitor is in the UK, a solicitor is like a lawyer. So, by the way, I had to put that in there. So I didn't know that either until like recently. So yeah.
On one occasion, but on 3 other occasions, when I asked to see the nurse, they'd say yes and then nothing. For many hours, no one in the world knew what had happened to me or where I was. Only the police could call a solicitor for me. I had to ask like 4 or 5 different guards for several hours until I finally received a call. Some of my solicitor's calls did not get through or were not answered. One of the calls, my solicitor was told, would be monitored, and so they simply refused to take it. I asked to speak to...
What? Wait, why would you monitor a call from with a solicitor? That don't make any sense. Like, yeah, a lot of shit ain't jiving. Like, yeah, they're trying to make a statement here. Like, I think I've seen this before months ago. I think I did talk about it. Yeah, I did on the channel. I did talk about this months ago, but looking back at it, yeah, like a lot of stuff don't make any sense. Like, you gonna monitor his call with a solicitor. Like, yeah, suspect.
to the solicitor afterwards when that happened, but I was not allowed to. In total, I spent almost 24 hours in detention. At no point whatsoever was I allowed to speak to a family member or a friend. After waiting 15 hours, I was finally interviewed by 2 detectives. The interview lasted about an hour and a half, maybe something like that. So there's clearly no need to hold me there this entire time. But I believe this was done on purpose to try and rattle me psychologically. That failed. I categorically and utterly reject all the accusations by...
Yeah, they tried to break this man. This is what their objective was. Let's treat him like a stone cold terrorist. Let's break this guy so he won't, ever, report on things that we don't agree with. That's what this was, obviously.
By the police. I am not a terrorist. I have no criminal record. Prior to this incident, I'd never been detained in my entire life. I'm a product of the diplomatic community, and I'm raised to be anti-war. Both of my parents won Nobel Peace Prizes for their work as United Nations peacekeepers. They had a tremendous effect on my worldview and outlook, and instilled in me the importance of diplomacy, international law, and peace. I myself am a victim of terrorism. When I attended the British school in Islamabad, the Egyptian embassy adjacent to my school was blown up in a double bombing. I categorically and unequivocally condemn terrorism. I am a Medhurst. My family goes back 1,000 years in this country. I come from a long line of public servants. My father served in the London Metropolitan Police before entering the United Nations. He is an expert and an authority on counter-terrorism who taught me much. My grandfather was in the Royal Air Force during World War II, and his father before him in the British Army in World War I. I perhaps don't have the same career paths as them, but I consider my journalism to be a public service and my way of doing my bit for the country by providing a counterweight to mainstream media. I love my country. I respect its laws and its legal institutions. I get the feeling, nevertheless, that those like myself who are speaking up and reporting on the situation in Palestine are being targeted. I had booked my ticket to London on the same day, and yet an entire team of police were mobilized to arrest and question me. This is why I felt that this was a pre-planned, coordinated...
It was pre-planned, 100%. And also, too, I think about this, too. They coming after him. God knows who are the other journalists they're trying to target and come after, man. Like they're on a mission, to curb, people speaking truth to power. Like, either you got these platforms like YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Meta, whatever you call it, censoring, independent media accounts, or you got the governments shutting down platforms that allow you to say more truth, or you got also the government too, which trying to make Richard Medhurst look like a political prisoner because he's reporting on the genocide in Gaza. Like, I just play a few more minutes of this. Like, wow.
Coordinated arrest. Many people have been detained in Britain because of their connection to journalism. Sometimes under the Terrorism Act, sometimes not. I think of Julian Assange, Craig Murray, Kit Clarenberg, David Miranda, Vanessa Beeley. As far as I'm aware, I'm the only journalist, however, to have been arrested and held for up to 24 hours under Section 12 of the Terrorism Act. Keep in mind the conditions that I outlined previously. The psychological element where you're made to wait endlessly. You've not been told what you're accused of, nor when you'll be questioned. Now, despite having been released unconditionally, I do not feel that my bail is truly unconditional. I'm effectively in limbo, not knowing if I will be charged in 3 months or if I will go to prison. Journalism is my livelihood. I have an ethical and a moral responsibility toward the general public to inform.
So yeah, y'all, that's was back in August. Now as of now, y'all saw the other video that happened 4 days ago, where the Austrian police came and took his electronic devices and detained him. And you seen what London did. So yeah, man, they on a mission to like shut this guy down. Like they want to scare him to death, and it's not working. They know it's not working. Like he's still doing his job. We need more Richard Medhursts out there. We need more Jordan Cheritons out there. Shout out to Status Quo, man. They do amazing work. Like, you know, I guess George Sheridan's work is mostly like he goes to like strikes and stuff like that. You know, that's not, you know, the high risk shit. But, you know, he do other stuff too. Like, we need independent journalists, like independent investigative journalists to go out in the field and talk to people and get facts. Like, then we reported on them. You see what I'm saying? Like, you can't go to MSNBC and CNN and Fox News for investigative journalism. All they good for is spreading propaganda and State Department talking points. So yeah, man, support Richard Medhurst. I'm gonna put his GoFundMe in the links in the descriptions, and also I might also as well on my Twitter page. Follow me on Twitter. The handle is at LexShowBoy24. I will promote his GoFundMe link as well. So yeah, man, let's support independent journalism, and I really hope that Richard Medhurst will continue to do what he do and not go to prison for doing nothing wrong. Like, he didn't do nothing wrong. Like, that what really gets me. Like, he didn't do nothing wrong. But, you know, it's like when you do right, you don't like when you're on the right side of history until like later down the road, like you're a political prisoner. Like, so, all right, guys, on to the next story. All right, guys, before I get to this next topic, be sure to like the video, hit the like button. I got more energy today than I did yesterday. I had a sinus infection, but today I feel good, man. Try me a little cup of coffee, and I'm good to go. Like, hit the like button. Like, it's free. Do it. All right, guys, but let's get to something even more serious. It says for Mundo Weiss, it says the Gaza ceasefire may be falling apart. The real culprit is Israel. Of course. It's always Israel, right? Right? Look at them two fuckers, man. Look at them. Look at them. Two evil ass, man. I don't want to get, man. Evil ass motherfucker. It says on Monday, February 10th, Abu Abada, spokesperson for the Martyr Qassam brigades, I ain't gonna mess his name up all the way. The military wing of Hamas announced that the movement was indefinitely suspending further Israeli-Palestinian exchanges of captives on account of repeated and continued Israeli violations of the agreement reached between the two in January of this year. Of course, right? Of course, like I knew that Israel was still gonna be on that bullshit. Like, I was happy for the Palestinians because I'm pretty sure they are tired of seeing drone strikes, like shit burning around them every fucking, like, what, 20, 30 minutes. Like the trauma of that, man. Like, it's unbearable, but like, it's Israel, right? And Trump, right? You heard what Trump said. That's why he wants to take over the Gaza Strip, because he wants to put real estate there. Like, Trump is an evil, dirty motherfucker, and Benjamin Netanyahu is a dictatorist, murdering fuck. So, let me continue here, man. Jeez. It says, while Israel has indeed been violating the agreement in various ways, there's also more to the story. More importantly, this concerns Israel refusing to commence negotiations on the agreement's second phase. The U.S. President Donald Trump recent proposal for the forcible mass of expulsion of Palestinians from the Gaza Strip to the Arab world. Now, let me say this. This orange glass of Tang looking motherfucker right here wants Palestinians to leave their land to go to other Arab nations like Israel and Jordan, I think. Yeah. For what? Like, I make a case that Benjamin Netanyahu need to go back to Europe. Benjamin Netanyahu is European. What? They're like a thief coming to my house telling me I need to leave my house. You better leave. I'm gonna take this house over. What? Go back to where the fuck you come from, dude. Before I unalive you. Let me continue, man. It says the January agreement. Hold on, guys. Gotta switch it back. I keep doing that. The January agreement between Israel and Hamas is about more than exchange of captives. In Israel's instance, it comprises 3 phases rather than one. During the first phase, scheduled to last 42 days until the beginning of March, a limited exchange of captives and suspension of hostilities is to be accompanied by a partial Israeli withdrawal from the Gaza Strip. Freedom of movement within a territory for displaced Palestinians and in search of urgently needed humanitarian supplies, which I know that has been blockaded again. Though the objectives of the second phase are identified as a conclusion of the exchange of captives, a doable ceasefire, and completion of Israel's withdrawal from the Gaza Strip, the details have yet to be worked out. Rather, the parties agreed that negotiations for the second phase will commence on the 16th day of the first phase, and that the suspension of hostilities will persist while negotiations continue, even if these are not concluded by the end of the first phase. The third phase of the agreement, which primarily concerns the reconstruction of the Gaza Strip, also remains to be negotiated. So basically, Israel really wanted to do is they still want control, and so you telling me that the second and third phases are still need to be negotiated? But I thought that I thought when they come together for, I know it's a mediator in it, right? Yeah, like it's just yeah. Let me continue. Let me continue. Um, it says since concluding the agreement, Israel has continued with the periodic attacks within the Gaza Strip. Of course, um, like that's sad that while people were celebrating a ceasefire happening in the Gaza Strip, Israel did another round of unaliving. Yeah, um, back in January, killing approximately 25 Palestinians since January 19th. While these violations are on a considerably smaller scale than Israeli violations of the ceasefire agreement reached with Lebanon late last year, they needless to say call into question Israel's commitment to fulfilling its obligation. On the humanitarian file, Israel has been obstructing and dragging its feet in a more systematic fashion. While there has needed been a surge in supplies since the agreement came into force, Israel has been consistently preventing the entry of tents and caravans, particularly to the northern Gaza Strip. A significant issue under any circumstances, given Israel's systematic destruction of the Gaza Strip's housing stock and the inclement weather in midwinter. The issue has taken on a clear political dimensions as well in the context of Trump's proposal to permanently empty the Gaza Strip of its Palestinian inhabitants. It says, with respect to the scheduled Israeli-Palestinian negotiations on the second phase of the agreement, mediated by Israel and Qatar, Israeli Prime Minister Bibi, bitch ass, recently dispatched his negotiating team to the Qatar capital Doha, but he gave his negotiators clear instructions not to engage in discussions on the second phase of the agreement. Of course, he don't want to discuss. Rather, he is proposing to extend the first stage of the agreement so that it includes additional exchanges of captives. In other words, he wants to complete the captives restraint during the first phase and thus retrieve all remaining Israelis being held in the Gaza Strip without having to complete the withdrawal of Israeli forces from territory or commit to a durable ceasefire as envisioned during the second phase. So basically, he wants to do paint a facade like, yeah, we actually got a ceasefire, but I don't want to move on to the second phase because I want to continue to do more harming, basically. What a piece of fucking shit, man. It says Netanyahu's attempted slew of hand, while slightly different, echoes the criticism he received last year from senior Israeli officers in response to his repeated refusal to conclude a ceasefire agreement by constantly introducing new conditions. Signing the agreement, they advised him retreat the captives, and once they are back, Israel can easily manufacture to pretext to resume its military campaign. So basically, that right there means like, yeah, let's get all the captives, let's pretend, then let's go back to doing what we've been doing, which is genocide. Oh, I can't stand these people, man. Netanyahu has now additionally put forward a proposal whose elements are nowhere to be found in the January agreement and constitute an attempt to comprehensively rewrite it in exchange for an Israeli commitment not to resume its genocidal military campaign. The Hamas leadership would be required to depart the Gaza Strip, dismantle its military capabilities, and terminate any role in governance and administration. Needless to say, the Palestinians are not going to concede to Israel around the negotiating table what it failed to achieve on the battlefield. In other words, the proposal is a non-starter. It says, as for Trump's harebrained Gaza Rivera proposal, it, needless to say, renders the January third phase on the reconstruction of the Gaza Strip, and for that matter, much else, thoroughly moot and irrelevant. So basically, sorry guys, basically they're trying to say that yeah, like Trump wants to take it for himself. That's really what he wants to do. But it's not going to happen. In its context, that Hamas decided it needed to demonstrate it had its limits and was not going to be further intimidated or taken for a ride. Its military spokesperson Abdu Abuda announced the suspension of any additional exchanges captured to further notice, while also pointing out that the announcement being made on Monday, while no exchanges are scheduled before Saturday. If arrangements are made between now and the weekend that produce a succession of Israeli violations, he indicated the exchange of captives will resume according to a schedule. I'm gonna read this, then I'll read just a couple more paragraphs here. As has been concluded by virtually every serious observer and analyst since mid-January, Netanyahu was dragged kicking and screaming into his agreement by the incoming Trump administration. Yeah, right. That's an asterisk on that. And has, from the outset, been determined to avoid entering into the second phase for a variety of personal, ideological, and strategic reasons. They don't want a second phase. That's the point. The Hamas announcement was therefore music into Netanyahu's ears, and Israel immediately placed its military on alert, canceled leaves, and resumed intensive jet and drone overflights of the Gaza Strip. Responding to the announcement in Washington, Trump raised the stakes yet further if all of the remaining Israeli hostages are not released by high moon this coming Saturday. He would let all hell break loose, and Hamas will find out what I mean. So yeah, like the orange man trying to threaten somebody. Man. So yeah, man, like Israel don't want a second phase. They want, they really didn't want the ceasefire agreement. That's why you had Ben Gvir and the other fucker Smotrich leave. They stepped down because they are just genocidal maniacs. Like it was never about the hostages to begin with, man. It was never about the hostages. Like Hamas just really now yesterday stopped releasing Israeli hostages. like like Hamas doing their part, but Israel, they just can't help themselves. Like they just they just some bloodless freaks, man. They just they heartless. I gotta watch what I say on here. Y'all know what I mean? Like they heartless fucks, man. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. They want to continue to killing. So yeah, man. I mean, the ceasefire was far from the beginning. Like it was a little glimmer of hope at first, but like the real factors of this was when basically, like even before the ceasefire was officially like announced, like Israel was still killing, still bombing. So, oh man, this is a mess. All right, guys. Before I get to this last segment, you've made it this far and you haven't done it yet, like the video, like it, It's free, man. It don't cost you a thing. So yeah, last topic, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the CFPB as they call it. If you don't know what that is, it's basically it protects us consumers from scams and stuff like that. Like, these corporations, they demonstrably scam artists. Like, I think insurance is a scam within itself. But it's other scams as well. Like they do little sly scams and shit like that. So it protects you from that. Supposed to, hold these people accountable that commit these scams. But as the per usual, Donald Trump, you know, as a part of Project 2025 per se, like they want to get rid of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau because they don't like it because the people Trump's orbit don't like it. So Trump himself don't like it. So yeah. Shout out to K Study QB for this video, man. I don't know how he watched corporate media like this. Like, yeah, he sifted through this and he found some gems in it, man. So yeah. I'm gonna play this video. Here we go. Let me see. Start from
So let's just take a moment to remember exactly what the CFPB does. It is the consumer watchdog that protects people from unfair and deceptive practices, financial practices like predatory lending, debt collecting, and overcharging bank fees. And since its creation, this is important, CFPB enforcement actions have led to nearly $20 billion in consumer relief. Republicans have long been critical of the agency, but here's my point. If you think the CFPB is not run well, if you think some of their work is redundant, they want to streamline, okay, great. Then why isn't the president standing at the podium and explaining to the American people, here's the replacement. We're going to move it to the SEC. We're going to move it to the...
Is he delusional? Like, why would he do that? Like, he's against anything that's for the people. Like Trump only cares about his donors. Elon Musk and his donors. Like, he's trying anything that don't benefit them is not going to benefit Trump. So why would Trump help people by saying the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is full of crap, which is not, but I'm gonna move it to another agency? Like, that don't make any sense. I know she's asking a question, but I'm kind of like answering like he wouldn't do that. You see what I'm saying? Okay, here we go.
Treasury. If you feel like you are getting financially scammed and taken advantage of, this is the hotline to call. But no, they're not saying anything because a move like this leaves us wondering who is looking out for the consumer. Could it be no one? Former director of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, Rohit Chopra, joins me now. He was previously a member of the Federal Trade Commission. Rohit, it's not a surprise that you were let go from your position. You were appointed by President Biden. But talk to us about this agency. You were running it up until 2 weeks ago. What are you thinking now? You knew you would be out of a job, but did you ever think the 1,700 people who are part of this agency would potentially be too?
Well, I just think it's totally strange. Shuttering the CFPB would just be a big bonanza for big companies that break the law. You know, every single day that I served, we got thousands of consumer complaints saying things like, I paid my bill, they cashed my check, but my student loan company hasn't credited my account. Or I was charged 3 overdraft fees instead of just 1 because they reordered my payments. Or I got a notice of a potential foreclosure.
Yeah, like these corporations want to scam you. So you Trump, you get money from these corporations. So of course you're gonna get rid of it. Like, you don't care about people voted for Trump because they thought he was going to do what Biden didn't do. He was going to make the economy better for them. But Like, so people gonna get scammed out of their money, hard-earned money, right? Because because having this corporation, having this safety net, I'll call it, is a burden to these corporations. They want to scam, they want to suck. They already suck money out of us. They want to suck even more money. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'll let them continue.
For a mortgage I never took out. Every single day, people feel frustrated when it comes to their financial life, whether it's a credit report or a loan. And that's exactly what the CFPB works to fix. It is popular with people of all political stripes. And the only people I think who are skeptical of it are lobbyists and corporate executives who don't seem to want to play by the rules. And we should want a market that is fair and competitive and not where cheaters can unfairly compete.
I don't know if they're skeptical of the agency. The people who you're talking about who don't want it, it flies in the face of their business because they don't want to have any rules. So if the CFPB doesn't exist, let's say it doesn't, what protections do the American people have? Who do they call if they're being ripped off, if they're being scammed? Who protects them? Who helps them?
Yeah, who knows? We had this experiment before in the years leading up to the subprime mortgage crisis, and as we all know, it was an absolute catastrophe. We had a whole set of mortgage lenders and other companies that had basically no oversight, and we saw trillions of dollars of wealth in our country disappear. It just feels like shutting down the CFPB is begging for another financial crisis.
Yeah, like no oversight. They don't want to be watched. Like, but they always say, "Who's watching the Watchmen?" They don't want to be watched. They want to continue to rip off poor people, which they target. Like, really, somebody got a foreclosure notice and they didn't have a mortgage? What? Like shit like that. Like, these corporations get away doing this shit on a daily basis. At least, I think the CFPB should have been more stronger, more thorough, but at least it did its job. Like, I heard somebody got scammed for like identity theft protection or something like that. I think it was Cal Kalinske. If I'm wrong, but and he got a check in the mail because I guess his credit card company offered some identity theft protection, and it turns out it was a scam. See, shit like that. Like I really believe, like, for example, like when I buy a new computer or something, like, and I buy accident protection or something, like if I drop my laptop or it breaks or have a power surge or anything like that, like, I will be able to tell the Consumer Finance Bureau, like, hey, this store or this corporation won't fix my shit. They making some excuse, but I have this contract that says that for extra insurance, that said that they'll fix my laptop or give me a new one. Like, shit like that. So yeah, corporations have loopholes. Like, getting rid of this, give them more leeway to fuck you over. That's basically what I'm saying. So here we go.
And Stephanie, here's actually what's interesting. We're already hearing businesses and others asking, are they harvesting data about their potential competitors? Is my information about my bank or financial company powering some new artificial intelligence model? What really is the reason for this? And that's really what we've got to get to the bottom of. At the end of the day, I don't see any reason why we shouldn't enforce the laws on the books. That's just a big gift to those who break the law.
But how are we going to get to the bottom of it, right? If Elon Musk and Doge are in the middle of this, he is filled with conflicts of interest with regard to his businesses, but he also comes from the school of move fast and break things. How are we to get to the bottom of it? Who's at the bottom waiting to pick this up? No one.
Well, you do see a lot of big tech companies and their executives lurching into financial services. You know, Facebook tried to create a currency. Google actually sued the CFPB because the CFPB was taking a look at their payments business. So I think we got to make sure that whatever is going on in Silicon Valley and Wall Street, their agenda is definitely not the agenda of families who want to see their costs go down. You know, the president actually talked about wanting to cap.
Yeah, and then like, did Mark Zuckerberg get paid for Trump's inauguration or some shit like that? So that to me makes sense to say like, hey, you know, I'm pretty sure that Facebook wants to get rid of, Meta wants to get rid of the CFPB. Like these corporations, like they want to get away with much dirt as they can. They don't want nobody looking over them. Like so yeah. Telling you, man, it's crazy. Play it for a few more seconds and I'm gonna end it. Almost done anyway.
Credit card interest rates. That may be something that there can be some real progress on. But if you let credit card companies continue to gouge people with illegal fees, that isn't helping anyone except those credit card giants.
Before you let.
All right, guys. So I ended right there. So yeah, he explained what it was. Yeah, about credit card fees, man. Like, yeah, overdraft fees and credit card fees. Like, that was the CFPB was there for. You know, to like keep companies from fucking ripping poor people off. Like, the dollar is hard to come by, and then you got a corporation coming around, and let's find ways to make more money. So, oh man. This is why I'm telling you guys, man. It's crazy out there. All right, guys, that's the show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure before you leave, like the video, pushes out an algorithm, and thank you so much for watching the ATP Network. I really do appreciate it. We got more shows for you coming up in the coming future, and so yeah. So I'm Andre Morton, and I'm signing out. And oh yeah, by the way, before I leave, I always say this: fuck Benjamin Netanyahu.